He's at 11, and when trying to take control of your health, first thing we need to often think about is getting to the gym. But a study which included more than 300,000 participants put out by the British Journal of Sports Medicine says we need to be looking somewhere else first. So joining us live at this hour is Anthony Peters from Quick Hit Fitness Labs in Davenport. Thank you so much for joining us this hour to talk more about this. I think this is a pretty important thing, so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
The first question I want to look at is a deeper look into this study. What was your take looking at that?
Certainly. So looking at what they were trying to reinforce is that exercise and diet really do go hand in hand. You can't outrun a bad diet, while at the same time you can't just eat a bunch of kale and expect to have a six-pack all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. They work together, and the more we can eat clean, exercise regularly, the better health overall we can elicit and get for ourselves.
Right, and I think a lot of times some of us get frustrated because we start working out, and then you were kind of alluding to it, we get frustrated because we don't see that we drop 50 pounds in 20 minutes or less. So how do we what should we be considering when we are looking at starting an exercise or even looking at this journey in health overall?
Certainly, first and foremost, find an exercise or a routine that you enjoy doing. You're a lot more likely to keep doing it then.
Makes sense.
If you like doing it, yeah. And then from there, just building up nice and slow. Slow and steady, being consistent is going to be the key, because you want to build something that's going to be sustainable for you even later into life, something that you can see yourself keep on doing.
Yeah, you don't want to give up before you get started, really. So, so what would be your advice for someone who's trying to start that nutrition journey, getting back into it? Maybe you've been on the journey before. I know I have, and you fall off the journey and fall off the wagon or whatever. What would be your advice for somebody that's wanting to get back on track?
Certainly, and not everyone might agree with what I'm about to say, but fad diets are just that. They are fads, so don't get too caught up in the carbs are bad, sugars are bad, even processed foods bad mentality, evil mentality, because it's not them that are necessarily the enemy, it's the overindulgence of them. I know if I eat a whole loaf of bread, I'm going to be worse off for it, but you can have a piece of toast with some fruit and eggs in the morning. That's fine.
Okay.
It's a lot more sustainable that way when you're looking at a moderation approach.
And I think one of the main things that happens to people when they start their workout journey, again, we were kind of talking about it, you get frustrated because you don't see the results really quickly. But another thing that I've been hearing, because I've been very transparent about my fitness journey, just starting about a month ago, you know, people say, I'm not motivated, or I can't get motivated, or they start, they don't see the results, and so now they're no longer motivated. So how do we get motivated to work out and to really take care of our health? And how can we continue having that motivation as we continue on?
Certainly, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the consistent and slow build approach to your fitness. So looking at it more as a journey rather than just the destination.
Okay.
You want to look at it as I'm going to slowly build up from here, because if you try and do it too quickly, unfortunately, you're setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. So if you enjoy what you're doing, as we mentioned earlier, and build up nice and slow, take a moderation approach, it's going to be something that you can see yourself sustaining later into life too.
Got it. Well, and I have done a story with you at your gym before when you guys were first getting started. And one thing that I noticed that was different from other gyms, you know, you go into other places, you see rows and rows of equipment. And I noticed that at your place, you really have one main piece, and then you have a couple of, you know, odds and ends. Talk about your approach to fitness and how it may be different from going to any big box gym.
Yeah, certainly. So at Quick Hit Fitness Labs, we have this really neat machine that I joke all the time is smarter than me. It's amazing what this thing can do. Any exercise you can think of, there's some way to program it onto the machine because of the sophisticated motor unit and software program with it. We can elicit momentary muscular fatigue in pretty much every exercise we do, because we focus on not just the traditional concentric exercise, but the eccentric part of the exercise too. So with a bicep curl, when you're bringing the exercise up, that's it, you just drop it.
Right.
For us, the machine will keep going and resisting at that range of motion, so that as you're pushing up, it's just matching you.
Okay.
So nothing scary like that. But it's going to elicit that eccentric response as well. So we're exhausting the muscles both directions.
And that was another thing that you had mentioned too in the previous story that I've done with you, is that you don't have to spend hours in the gym. A lot of your clients are spending a half hour or less.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so at Quick Hit we do 20-minute sessions. Since we are getting every exercise to momentarily muscular fatigue, you really don't want to go much more than that, to be fair, because I mean, you do biceps, triceps, chest push, leg press, anything like that, and you try and repeat those things, you're going to get pretty tired if you're getting everything to momentary muscular fatigue. Because of this, we elicit muscle building, fat loss, all of that fun stuff that you get from exercise quicker than traditional exercise.
Got it. And really quickly, you mentioned nutrition and fitness going hand in hand. Do you offer any sort of assistance with your clients when it comes to nutrition?
We do also offer nutritional guidance.
Okay.
So we'll help people along on all that kind of fun stuff. So
awesome. Well, Anthony Peters, thank you so much for joining us. And we have your website here as well, so we can show you that. You can learn more about Quick Hit Fitness Labs by visiting their website, quickhitfit.com, and then just select the Davenport, Iowa location. Stick with us. Good Morning Quad Cities continues right after this.